Hello, welcome to Cat Unmuted. If you are watching this episode, I am outside, and yeah, I'll get into this in a moment, but I started doing this me time thing, a more personal me time, since last week, and I'm in the middle of it right now. I'm actually heading home, but decided to take advantage of some of the beautiful places that Rio Rancho, New Mexico offers. And I have the Sandia Mountains behind me, which I purposefully put my camera to where you can see it. And it is beautiful. And, since I moved here in 2013, it was October, the end of October 2013, the Sandia Mountains has, I don't even know how to explain it, lots of personalities. The only issue is, even though it's got millions of personalities, the Sandia Mountains is really all that is. There is a lot that Rio Rancho or New Mexico in general offers. There's a lot of places you can go, but after living here for, how long have we been here? 13, almost 13 years now. By the end of this year, it'll be 13 years, but I think we tapped it all out, like we visited all the things that we would want to visit and explored a lot. And so the Sandia Mountains isn't really like excite me anymore, but that's not what we're here for. My point is, there's a lot of beauty in New Mexico, and I figured I would, now that we're trying to move out of here, actually enjoy the Sandias and everything New Mexico has to offer one last time before I leave to Okinawa. Because we won't be able to see mountains like this anymore, So anyway, I want to talk about something a lot more personal than what I like, because most of my solo episodes, I share a lot of my past, but I decided I should probably share a little bit of my current, which I did last time too, because the last one I talked about Maya, and the reason I have to give her up, and how I'm struggling with that. But the other thing I'm struggling with is this thing that I'm about to share with you today, and that's my intimacy issues with my husband, and I know for a fact that there are a lot of people out there that share the same struggles, but you don't hear about it. So, you don't really, pinpoint what it is until you start talking to the therapist. But I feel like if more of us share things like this, we would feel less alone and know that you're not crazy, because you're not the only one going through it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to share this and what I have learned and what I'm doing about it right now. And it is definitely an ongoing journey, and I am still currently figuring it out. So anyway, before I get into anything, I want you to understand that I do love my husband very much. He is the love of my life, and I'm still attracted to him. I do anything for him, To this day, and I tell him all the time that there's nobody that can attract me more than he still does today. And that's mostly because I know what marriage is like with him, and I can't imagine anybody else being able to provide the kind of marriage he has basically given me. And I'm grateful, and I want to like I said, I'm having intimacy issues, and I want him again. And therefore, I'm working on myself. Yeah, I hope that kind of sets the foundation and the understanding that the intimacy issues have nothing to do with our marriage not working. It is working. It's my identity and the issues around it that made this become a thing. And I am working on it. And I know I'll get somewhere with this. It's just not yet. And I can't tell you how much I look forward to having that connection with Josh again, because I think I lost it. And here I am sharing that with you. So, I don't even know where to start right now. So, you know, this intimacy thing, at first I thought it was because of the miscarriage that started all this, but once I started really looking at it, not just when like this is before I even seeked out help with a therapist, but before that I realized that this thing started way before the miscarriage. It got worse because of the miscarriage, but the miscarriage was not what started it. It was just what amplified it. What I have learned about me is that this intimacy issue actually started back in 2016 when I started my business. And also it was the same year my brother had moved in with us. When my brother moved in with us, he was stationed in Yokota Air Force Base in Japan. He got out of the military, and I told him that because he moved into my mom's house, which was in Denver at the time, and I told my brother that we had space. My mom didn't exactly have like the resources he needed, because the resources I'm talking about, it was for resources for veterans, right? And we knew that as veterans ourselves, me and my husband, we had figured out what we needed to do to have this life after the military as veterans, going into basically civilian life. So we told him to move in with us because we felt we could provide a better start in civilian life. So he moves in, and oh my God, like it was crazy how the moment he stepped into my house, I reverted back to the last time I was with him. And that was the year, the first year we moved to the United States, and back in 2006. And we had just left the life of, I don't know how much I talked about this previously, but we were, just in a nutshell, explained that we were living with my dad, with our stepmother, who was narcissistic, and we went through this emotional and mental abuse, which sent my dad into a hermit state, and that left me and my brother to fend for ourselves. And he did protect us for a time frame, but he couldn't take anymore and hit. Well, somehow that affected our visa, and we became illegal residents in Japan. And we had to move to the United States. So that year when we moved to Denver for that 1 year before joining the military, we were lost. We were still in that state where, our mindset wasn't exactly out of what we experienced as kids and young adults in that household in Japan. Like, we weren't out of that mindset yet. We were still broken. We were still all these things. And that was how I left my brother when we both got into the military. So when he moved into my house, I reverted right back to that cat, that identity, personality that I had left behind. And within the first day, I had these reactions that even my husband had never seen or heard. Like, he's never heard me scream or yell. And my brother said something to me that made me scream. I was so angry. But I think it was, I was thrown back to when I was in Japan. So all of a sudden, all this anxiety that I had back in those days came back, and I lashed it out at my brother. And my husband, my poor husband, I think he was outside doing something in the garage. He came back inside, hearing me scream, and was like, is this my house and are you my wife? Like, he's never heard me scream like that before. He was a little afraid to know what he was about to walk into when he opened that door. But I told my husband, I was like, I don't know what came over me, but like, I'm so angry right now. I just need to be alone and like, sort through the feelings that I once had, but it was unfamiliar, but at the same time familiar to me at that very moment. But my point is, when my brother moved in, I suddenly became his so-called mother again, because that's what I was. Because we had moved into my dad's house with my stepmother, and yeah. God, I just lost my train of thought. But point is, I reverted back to the old me. And the old me was my brother's stand-in mother, because we were no longer with our actual mother, right? And so now I'm back into that anxiety-filled mother, stand-in mother for my brother. And it didn't help that I had just opened a massage practice. So I'm already helping a lot of people. And my brother became another thing that I had to help. And I didn't realize I went into that state. Anyway, when me and my husband started talking about this, because I was telling him, I was like, I don't know what it is. I stayed as open and authentic and genuine as I could without starting any fights, which we didn't. There were a couple of times where, like, one of us was so frustrated we actually did raise our voices, but we hadn't ever gotten into a fight. We actually talked about what we needed to talk about and got it off our chests and figured it out together. And the more I tell him, obviously, the more he would be, in a sense, hurt, because he felt like he was part of the problem. And one day I told him, I was like, I need to make sure that you understand that you're not the problem. Like, yes, he became part of the thing that I have to take care of. Like, that's one of the things I started realizing, was that having him in my life at the time going from opening a business, having my brother move in, and then during the summer, like, I would have my mom and my niece like come in. So we would go from a 2 or 3 person household to a 5-person household overnight, and for the summer. And so all of a sudden I had all these people to take care of. And before my brother moved out, my mom moved in, which I was super happy she moved in, because I did not like her husband at the time. They're now divorced, and I'm happy about it, but I also want my mom to be happy, you know. And I think because of that, she became another thing I had to take care of, and the responsibilities I had just kept piling up. And then I had the miscarriage, and intimacy just plummeted for me. The responsibility was becoming too much, and because of that, sex became a chore. Like, if I don't do this, then I'm gonna, like, I need to, like, basically take responsibility for Josh to be happy with me. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be a responsibility. It should be something that I want, because he's my lover and my partner. He's the love of my life. Like, there shouldn't be any responsibilities. So when I started feeling so, like, lost in what I need to do, like, I understood what I was going through, but I couldn't get myself to, like, I didn't know what to do. And all I knew was I needed to talk to somebody, which I have people I can talk to, but I felt like it would be best if Josh and I talked together, because he is my goal. My goal is to want him again. So I needed him to be involved. So I had to talk to him. And somehow I was able to talk to Josh and basically had him understand that I want to explore this. I'm at a, like, all these things, right? I want to explore it, but I needed him to be able to be with me to explore this thing. And I wasn't surprised, but I was so relieved and happy that he agreed to it. Like, he was like, anything to get you back to how we were, you know? And I was like, that's what I want as well. I just don't know how to get there. And in order to get there, I feel like we should do this together. And I told him, I was like, you might be able to learn something, but I'm telling you this more for me. I don't know if you want this for yourself, but if you can do it for me, that'd be great. And that's how we proceeded. Oh my God, that was a lot. So during the time we were doing the therapy stuff, so it's been a month now, and like I said earlier, I was heading home. Did I say this earlier? I can't remember. I'm heading home, and in about half an hour, we are going to see my therapist for the 5th time. So we've had an entire month of therapy now. And in not the last one, but the 3rd session, one of the things that she asked me, which helped a lot, was, you keep saying that you don't feel safe with his touch anymore, but what does safe mean to you? And I was like, you know, that's a good question, because I say safe, like I don't feel safe with his touch anymore, because every time he touches me, I like have this anxiety, like a shock, like, whoa, you know. And saying that with the pressure, it just didn't feel safe anymore, it was just something that was easier to say, because it was the easiest to be understood, because that's how I explained it to Josh. But she wanted to know exactly what I meant by that. And I told her, I was like, there was so much responsibility that just piled up since 2016. And the pressure got way too much for me to be able to handle this relationship. And it's not necessarily that I feel unsafe, but I feel like I kind of lost myself, and everything I do, including sex, became a chore, and there's no me in it anymore. Like, I'm not doing anything for me anymore. Like, everything I do is to provide for my clients, my mom, my brother, my dog. And then in this case, my husband. I wasn't getting into things because I want to anymore. It was because I had to. So she was like, have you ever taken any me time anymore? And I was like, I do. Like, when I was a massage therapist for 9 years, like, I made sure I had me time. And I did that because I knew that I was going to burn out, which I have multiple times. And I did all this me time, and it was wonderful. It worked really well. But when I closed the business last year, I didn't feel like I needed that me time anymore. Let me rephrase that. I felt like I was doing me time at that point, because I was always home doing what I wanted. I would take little field trips, so to speak, to the grocery store with my husband, doing all these things where, things that mattered but didn't matter. Like, I felt like that was me time. I was embracing the lifestyle of doing what I wanted to do as opposed to what I needed to do. But I can't remember what the therapist said, but Josh made a point. He was like, every time we go somewhere, it's always, oh, my mom might enjoy this too, so I should get her some. Oh, Maya would love this, so I should get her some. Oh, like, we go to this place, we should go here with mom next time. Or if it's a great place for a walk, oh, Maya would love to be here. And like, every time we go out and do stuff, I always have somebody else in my head that would make me not actually do it right then and there, because I'd rather enjoy it with somebody else. Like, for example, I went to the Block one day. This was like months and months and months ago, maybe last year. And I said, there was a boba place, and I was like, oh, like, I think I want to get some boba at the end of our little trip here, so that I can order 2 and take one to mom before the ice in it melts. You get my drift, right? Like, I'm literally going to places and not letting myself enjoy something for where I was at, and instead thinking that I should do it like the boba to take it home at the end of that trip, as opposed to just getting a drink and walking around with it for myself. So she was like, you should take me time more personally. Let's try that. And I was like, God, like, I had no idea the me time that I thought was me time was no longer me time. And so last week was my first week in incorporating me time. Like half a day of one day of the week. Today's the second time I've done it. Last week I did it in the afternoon. Today I started in the morning, and it is right now almost 1:30. And yeah, I'm doing it in the afternoon. I'm And like I said, I'm headed home. I'm on my way home right now doing this recording, but let's just say it took a hot minute for me to feel comfortable leaving the house without Josh. Like, I had so many excuses not to leave, but I finally did. This time, like, I made it a point. It wasn't hard. I really wanted to do it because I knew how good it felt when I did finally do so last week, and I wanted to continue it. Oh no. Hold on. I had this my speaking points in here. I've lost it. Oh yeah, there it is. Where are we at? Just want to make sure I'm on time for my anyway, so last week, again, it took all of me to leave the house, right? And I didn't know what I was going to do, but I did have a book. And I've read, like, I've always been a bookie. I love books. I love reading. But I've been reading so many self-development books. I was like, God, do I even have a book that I can enjoy? And I had one out of so many books. I was like, okay, good. I have something to start with, you know? So I'm using that. I've already finished. I'm on to my second book now, but I was going to take that to a cafe. I decided I wanted to go to the Flying Star, which is like pretty close to my house, through Corrales, the village of Corrales, if you don't know anything about this area. And while I was driving there, I was thinking about my drive and how I was going to get there, and thinking if there was any place else that might be more fit to what I wanted to do. Oh, there's a dirt bike. So I was thinking about it, and I thought about this place called the Heritage House, which is a new place, and it's really cute. It has a 5-room inn and probably a bed and breakfast. I don't know, but it's like an event space as well as a little cafe for anybody else. And so I went there and found this little self-guided tour. Yeah, a self-guided tour, like, booklet that I found in the Heritage House, and it showed like several historic buildings that are still standing today, and that's part of the village of Corrales Historic Society. And I was like, I guess it's gonna be my afternoon. Like, I found that, you know, this is the stuff that I used to do by myself. Like, I used to explore, even though there were places that I have explored many times. Sometimes you find something new and something that you never really thought of doing because you're with somebody else. And so I found myself exploring. This time I kind of did the same thing. I went to a different place in Corrales, had coffee there, read my book. Yeah. And then I went to the block to get a couple of things because it was my friend's birthday tonight, and she's having a little dinner out with her friends, her group of friends. I don't know how many people are coming, but we're all going to be there. Yeah. Anyway, back to my point. I'm having intimacy issues, but turns out I'm having an identity issue. And when you have lost yourself, I think that's when you start losing connection. And that's exactly what's happening with me with the identity of, you know, instead of me, the identity as Josh's wife and Josh's lover and partner and best friend and all of that, my identity became a caretaker instead. And that has basically disconnected me from him the way we were supposed to be connected. I think there are a lot of people out there that needs to hear this message, because we all do this without realizing what's happening. We lose ourselves in what's happening. But and I didn't even because I'm all about this kind of thing, and somehow I fell into it without realizing it. It happens without, again, I live this kind of life where I'm always self-development, right? I'm all about it. I'm all about being self-aware. I'm all about all this stuff. But just because I practice a lot of things that is good for me doesn't make me perfect. I still struggle. And this is one of the things I'm struggling with. So if you need to hear, no matter how good you think you have it in life, if this is one of the things that you may or may not have been experiencing, when was the last time you completely did something for yourself? Just for you, nobody else. And not because somebody wanted you to or told you to, but just you going out there with no agenda and just enjoying the moment and seeing where you end up. I'm kind of doing that going to Okinawa. I have no agenda. But somehow I'm not doing it on my own personally. Because this Okinawa thing is a family thing, we're all going with no agenda. But when was the last time you did that for yourself? When was the last time I did that for myself? I can't remember. I'm still learning, and I will keep updating, I guess, as long as there's something to update. But point is, no matter how much we practice this stuff, we still struggle with some things. But that doesn't mean the struggle is bad. It just means that you got veered off track, and now you just kind of have to clean the slate to come back in as the new you. And the reason I say the new you is because in my case, it is the new me. I have gone through all these things with my brother, my mom, my niece, the dogs, and especially with my husband. And this rockiness is the experience I need to reinvent who I am, in a sense, and find my true identity as the me now, and find my way back to my husband. And when that happens, I think my connection, our connection between me and my husband, will grow ever so much stronger because of the struggles, of these struggles that we are experiencing. If there are no struggles, the bond can't be stronger, because you can't be the same person as we were. We can't be the same person as people as we were when we first met. That was 13 years ago, or almost 15 years ago, actually, when we first met. We can't be the same people. You know what I mean? There's growth, and there's nothing you can do about that. And honestly, it's the best thing. Anyway, I'm babbling now, so I'm gonna end it here. Ask yourself what you are going through right now, and if you're not single and you're struggling even a little bit, maybe this is what you need. Some very personal me time. All right. I'll see you guys next week, and you guys have a wonderful day.